spirit. The UNOH number 1 will actually be driven by Tyler, one of their students. If you're a Buddy Baker fan or you listen to the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook, you'll recognize the Gray Ghost. Wouldn't be Halloween without some candy. Toxic Waste is joining us. Thad Moffitt, one of several real NASCAR drivers in the field. Ooh, gruesome look on the Shelby County Speedway Chevy. Gotta give a shout out to Kyle Vaughters, who designed most of the paint schemes you'll see Tuesday night. I love the details on this Pro Lube scheme. Little cobwebs there on the door. Precision Measurements is joining us this year. Opticoat is on the 11. They'll also be on Jeb Burton's Xfinity car this weekend. ARCA driver Armani Williams will drive the Not Your Average Joe Ford. We've got 3 otherworldly national metering paint schemes in the field. Little race within a race. NASCAR Mavericks, the book, on the 86. Matrix actually produced these awesome graphic shirts. Hendrick Motorsports fans, if you're not rooting for me, maybe you should root for the 17 on Tuesday. The Headrest Safe Company on the number 48 looks nice. Ooh, I'm a big fan of purple race cars, and the orange just reminds everyone it's Halloween. Drive Smart, familiar name, on the number 91. David Smith tribute on the 80. Lawless Allen will be in the field. Ooh, unique look for Carrera. David Shieldhouse driving this car, looking to three-peat at Groovy Hollow. Ooh, this one looking clean. 5-minute pet bath on the number 5. That's fitting. Then, of course, the Junkyard Jacks are back, and I'll be behind the wheel of the Halloween machine. I hope you all will tune in Tuesday night. We're raising money for Extra Life, part of Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Thanks to you guys, we've already been able to donate some die-casts to Toys for Tots. All that's left is to put on a festive, spooky iRacing event Tuesday, October 29th. I gotta get back to practicing. Thanks for watching this short preview, folks. Head to Groovy Hollow Raceway to learn more. Back to making some laps. Oh, come on. Why would you expose me like that? You ever heard of movie magic? At least it is plugged in. Come on now. Seriously. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Me, I'm just practicing for next week's Groovy Hollow 4, my annual Halloween-themed charity iRacing event that this year I have consented to driving in. So I've been making some laps lately with the help of my new friend, DJ YJ. Check him out, YouTube. Getting ready for this year's event, Tuesday, October 29th. Green flag is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, streaming right here on my YouTube channel. You're in the right place. Just hit like the bookmark button, or maybe just subscribe. That's the easiest way to make sure you don't miss it. If you need to get up to speed, head to groovyhollowraceway.com. There you'll also find special event items. We've got signed hero cards, special event t-shirts, and of course, this year's Halloween machine in 1/64th scale die-cast form. You'll also find this year's paint scheme contests. This event wouldn't be possible without the support of A.E. Engine and our many partners. Gotta look through some of the options here. Victory Consultants, now that is getting into the Halloween spirit. The UNOH #1 will actually be driven by Tyler, one of their students. If you're a Buddy Baker fan or you listen to the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook, you'll recognize the Gray Ghost. Wouldn't be Halloween without some candy. Toxic Waste is joining us. Thad Moffitt, one of several real NASCAR drivers in the field. Ooh, gruesome look on the Shelby County Speedway Chevy. Gotta give a shout out to Kyle Vaughters, who designed most of the paint schemes you'll see Tuesday night. I love the details on this Pro Lube scheme. Little cobwebs there on the door. Precision Measurements is joining us this year. Opticoat is on the 11. They'll also be on Jeb Burton's Xfinity car this weekend. ARCA driver Armani Williams will drive the Not Your Average Joe Ford. We've got 3 otherworldly national metering paint schemes in the field. Little race within a race. NASCAR Mavericks, the book on the 86. Matrix actually produced these awesome graphic shirts. Hendrick Motorsports fans, if you're not rooting for me, maybe you should root for the 17 on Tuesday. The Headrest Safe Company on the number 48 looks nice. Ooh, I'm a big fan of purple race cars, and the orange just reminds everyone it's Halloween. Drive Smart, familiar name on the number 91. David Smith tribute on the 80. Lawless Allen will be in the field. Ooh, unique look for Carrera. David Shieldhouse driving this car, looking to three-peat at Groovy Hollow. Ooh, this one looking clean. 5-minute pet bath on the number 5. That's fitting. Then, of course, the Junkyard Jacks are back, and I'll be behind the wheel of the Halloween machine. I hope you all will tune in Tuesday night. We're raising money for Extra Life, part of Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Thanks to you guys, we've already been able to donate some die-casts to Toys for Tots. All that's left is to put on a festive, spooky iRacing event Tuesday, October 29th. I gotta get back to practicing. Thanks for watching this short preview, folks. Head to Groovy Hollow Raceway to learn more. Back to making some laps. Oh, come on. Why would you expose me like that? You ever heard of movie magic? At least it is plugged in. Come on now. Seriously. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Me, I'm just practicing for next week's Groovy Hollow 4, my annual Halloween-themed charity iRacing event that this year I have consented to driving in. So I've been making some laps lately with the help of my new friend, DJ YJ. Check him out, YouTube. Getting ready for this year's event, Tuesday, October 29th. Green flag is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, streaming right here on my YouTube channel. You're in the right place. Just hit like the bookmark button, or maybe just subscribe. That's the easiest way to make sure you don't miss it. If you need to get up to speed, head to groovyhollowraceway.com. There you'll also find special event items. We've got signed hero cards, special event t-shirts, and of course, this year's Halloween machine in 1/64th scale die-cast form. You'll also find this year's paint scheme contests. This event wouldn't be possible without the support of A.E. Engine and our many partners. Gotta look through some of the options here. Victory Consultants, now that is getting into the Halloween spirit. The UNOH #1 will actually be driven by Tyler, one of their students. If you're a Buddy Baker fan or you listen to the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook, you'll recognize the Gray Ghost. Wouldn't be Halloween without some candy. Toxic Waste is joining us. Thad Moffitt, one of several real NASCAR drivers in the field. Ooh, gruesome look on the Shelby County Speedway Chevy. Gotta give a shout out to Kyle Vaughters, who designed most of the paint schemes you'll see Tuesday night. I love the details on this Pro Lube scheme. Little cobwebs there on the door. Precision Measurements is joining us this year. Opticoat is on the 11. They'll also be on Jeb Burton's Xfinity car this weekend. ARCA driver Armani Williams will drive the Not Your Average Joe Ford. We've got three, otherworldly national metering paint schemes in the field. Little race within a race. NASCAR Mavericks, the book, on the 86. Matrix actually produced these awesome graphic shirts. Hendrick Motorsports fans, if you're not rooting for me, maybe you should root for the 17 on Tuesday. The Headrest Safe Company on the number 48 looks nice. Ooh, I'm a big fan of purple race cars, and the orange just reminds everyone it's Halloween. Drive Smart, familiar name, on the number 91. David Smith tribute on the 80. Lawless Allen will be in the field. Ooh, unique look for Carrera. David Shieldhouse driving this car, looking to three-peat at Groovy Hollow. Ooh, this one looking clean. 5-minute pet bath on the number 5. That's fitting. Then, of course, the Junkyard Jacks are back, and I'll be behind the wheel of the Halloween machine. I hope you all will tune in Tuesday night. We're raising money for Extra Life, part of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Thanks to you guys, we've already been able to donate some die-casts to Toys for Tots. All that's left is to put on a festive, spooky iRacing event Tuesday, October 29th. I gotta get back to practicing. Thanks for watching this short preview, folks. Head to folks. Head to Groovy Hollow Raceway to learn more. Back to making some laps. Oh, come on. Why would you expose me like that? You ever heard of movie magic? At least it is plugged in. Come on now. Seriously.
Mysterious orange car, a speedway that seems intent on holding on to its secrets, and of course, the spooky atmosphere of a late October night. You can't ask for much more from Groovy Hollow 4, and you'll see it all live here on RaceSpot TV. I am Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Josh Lee, along with behind the scenes, we of course have Hugo Louise. And I love these events, Josh. The events that kind of let our hair down a little bit, have some fun, and really enjoy the spirit of racing.
And the spirit of Halloween as well. We're both in costume. A little bit of an upgraded costume. I am Eric Spotter tonight. You know, I got the radio headset. I've got the jersey, you know, 3 wide middle, in and out. I hope he knows what in and out is, unlike Justin Haley a couple of weeks ago at Kansas. But nonetheless, this event always brings together the best of iRacing and NASCAR regulars. We're going to see all of that on the track tonight as 29 drivers get ready to go racing again at Groovy Hollow. Schildhouse going for 3 in a row. There's a lot to talk about tonight, both on the track and off.
Absolutely, and we will have some shenanigans, but not as many as before, as you saw in the promos leading up to this, but we'll talk about those in a bit. For the most part, pretty straightforward race at 150 laps around Iowa Speedway, but more than anything, the one thing that I do love about this is not just that they let the drivers have fun, but of course, they're raising for various charities as well, Josh. They've got Toys for Tots, of course, they've got the likes of Extra Life as well, which is a huge charity for all of video gaming, helping so many causes over in various hospitals around the U.S. So I love that they're trying to do good, not just be good out on the track.
And all the information for donating at groovyhollowraceway.com. We have a donation goal of $2,500 tonight for Extra Life. So if you want to go donate, any little bit helps, from $1, $100, even $1,000. If you can give that much, groovyhollowraceway.com is where you need to go. But all the time in the iRacing sim, we see these events all for charity, everything going on the racetrack, drivers racing hardcore on the racetrack, and then everybody doing their best behind the scenes as well. Another instance of Groovy Hollow Raceway helping out Extra Life again, and we're glad to introduce Toys for Tots as well into that charity pool as well this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved seeing what they've done for that. Like was said, if you want, we've got our links in the description if you need to find anything. So if you want to help donate to some of these causes, that will be a huge help, and every little bit will definitely count. Here's Armani Williams out there. We've got a number of real world drivers. He's in the Not Your Average Joe car, and Ricky Harden. I like this. That's
gonna make the best dressed list tonight.
Yeah. Really going for it and enjoying himself. He's even got his candy with him, it looks like. Yeah, there you go. He is ready to try and make sure he's got all the sugar he needs, and he's got a friend helping him. Look at that in the background. I hope that's a mannequin behind
him. I sincerely hope that is a mannequin behind him.
That's what you think.
This is going to get really awkward if it's not.
Eric Estep, of course, the guy that's putting all this on as well, does a lot to try and make these happen each and every year. This time competing, we think, of his own free will. I don't know. Are you buying that, Josh? Do you think he's...
I don't know about that one, Joe. I mean, the Halloween machine has done this before. We've seen the Halloween machine always make its way up to the front. And this year, it's chosen Eric Estep to pilot that machine hopefully to victory lane like it did in Groovy Hollow 1 with Josh Berry behind the wheel of that car. But he's still in the Halloween spirit. He's got the vampire cape on, doing his best Dracula impression. We'll see if he does the Dracula accent as well when we bring him up into the broadcast booth for an interview a little bit later on tonight. But there is your two-time winner of the Groovy Hollow special event, David Schildhouse, winner of Groovy Hollow 2, winner of Groovy Hollow 3. He goes for Groovy Hollow 4 tonight with Carrera on board his Chevy Camaro.
And he even has a t-shirt that says Groovy Hollow winner. Is that something that they make, or did he actually have to make that himself?
It'd be hilarious if he made it himself. I can't really tell. Is that a picture of one of his former cars? We have raced multiple different vehicles in Groovy Hollow as well. He won in the 87s at Daytona and also won in the NASCAR Next Gen machines here at Iowa Speedway.
Yeah, so he's obviously one of the favorites, Kealoha Hankins. I am trying to now trying to figure out what exactly he is. Is it like a giant whoopee cushion, or is he like a heart, or what? Because this is a unique costume. I'm
at a loss as well. He's running the Shelby County Speedway entry in the number 31, which is anybody's listened to the Groovy Hollow audio book, The Legend of Groovy Hollow. You'll know that Shelby County Speedway story, and Kealoha Hankins, college student making their first Groovy Hollow appearance. I'm not sure on their Halloween costume. Maybe we'll find out a little bit later on. I'm hoping they finish well and we can try and decipher. Is it Patrick Starr?
You know what? That might be it. That's a good guess. I feel like that is a likely culprit, at least more likely than my two guesses. But Nathan Coaster as well for National Metering South. Got a couple of those national metering cars here, all kind of competing with one another. Nothing like an internal team battle to try and help motivate, because the first person you always want to beat is your teammate, right?
An internal sponsor battle as well, representing National Metering North, National Metering South, and the National Metering headquarters as well. We're looking at Thomas Kunin right now in that number 29 for National Metering North. These paint schemes are so cool, Joe. No matter what paint scheme, no matter what sponsor they've got, everybody brought their A game on these paint schemes tonight.
And no wonder there is a contest going on for these paint schemes, which you can take part in. If you want to go vote, you can simply go off to their website, the Daily Downforce, and they've got links for that. It's GroovyHollowRaceway.com. And voting ends at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is just past 8 p.m. Eastern right now, so you got a little less than an hour to try and help decide who comes away the winner on this one. Tim Coombs for the Hendrick Motorsports 40-year celebration. I'm very interested in checking that out. I cannot imagine all the cool stuff that they've got in that book, a little coffee table book that's going to be published here soon with all kinds of fantastic photos and stories from the 40-year history of the team. In fact, from what I understand, a forward by Jeff Gordon as well. So probably some good little tidbits in there is Alex Chilcutt in the 5-minute pet bath car, which, as we found out, is the number 5, which you've got to have that as he tries to make his way into pit lane to practice that pit entry. Looks like practice just about over. We'll have 5 minutes of qualifying and 2 laps to try and set our fastest time here. But then we get off to the real stuff, the racing.
And Joe, I mentioned earlier, 29 cars were registered here at Groovy Hollow Raceway for Groovy Hollow 4. Looks like we actually have 31 that are going to take a time in qualifying. There's 2 drivers by the name of the Forge brothers that have showed up just a couple of minutes ago, ran their cars through tech, and they're going to qualify and be racing with us tonight in Groovy Hollow 4. The Daily Downforce news crew is trying to find out a couple of details on them. We genuinely, Joe, have no idea who these brothers are, who they're racing for, but they're going to be racing here tonight. So 29 cars, make it 31. We get 2 extras with us.
Ooh, so the more the merrier, if you ask me. Larry Pace, we see out there getting ready to get going. He was looking very quick in practice, so he could be a serious threat. But, you know, as was said, as soon as we get information from the Daily Downforce folks, we'll try and fill you in on what's going on with these 2 mystery cars that we've got signed in. If you want to know more about the Forge Brothers and all this stuff that's going on with Groovy Hollow, we had mentioned earlier that there is the free audiobook, and it really is free. You can go on YouTube, listen to it. It's also on all major podcast platforms. They've had even Julian Kuhl narrate the book, read it out. So they've gone to great lengths for this one. It's got illustrations and everything. It's fantastic to see how deep they've gone into the lore on this.
And over 4 years as well. We've got a lot of the lore that has been building, and we get even more of it tonight. As we see the first times in qualifying start to work their way in. We're looking at Blake Lothian get loose off of turn 4. We get to mention how challenging this Iowa Speedway is, Joe, especially in these low downforce Xfinity cars that are low downforce, high speed. You're going to get loose off of turn 4. You're going to get tight off of turn 2 as you try and get that power down. It's a short track that races like an intermediate. If you can imagine trying to fit intermediate speeds into a short track length, sounds challenging, right? Well, that's what these drivers are going to deal with for 150 laps tonight. Aaron Smith, currently the fastest, as we see a handful of other times start to work their way in. Only 2 qualifying laps allowed, and a good amount of those are starting to work their way in.
Yeah, it's currently sitting at just over 0.6 of a second for those that have set a time, separating the entire field, and that's 22 cars. So relatively close, especially for as short of a lap as it is around here. Watching Nathan Coaster coming around down the back stretch, sending it into turn 3. Like you said, it's a short track, 0.8 of a mile around here, so you get to that line pretty quickly. So where is he going to wind up as he crosses? First lap on the board. It looks like 16th for the number 95.
Needs a little bit more speed out of the National Meeting South machine, and the Florida Department of Transportation entry of Ricky Harden goes around in the final corner. He has gotten a lap in, so not all bad for Ricky Harden, currently sitting on the leaderboard relatively. Oh, he hasn't put a lap time in, actually, so he spins. We'll get another run at that. Kealoha Hankins now in the Shelby County Speedway, number 31, crosses the line. They set a 24-second lap time. They'll now set a 23.597, move them up to P14. Dale Tanhart now in one of the Junkyard Jack machines, the Junkyard Jack crash entry in the number 66. Big fan following for Dale, and looking to put all of those fans on notice tonight as he takes the green flag in qualifying. What does he put in? I see a 24.689. That is about 0.8 off of the pace, unfortunately.
Oof. Well, one driver that's not off the pace, and it's not really surprising, David Schildhaus is up to second. So front row start for him potentially. I think all we're missing is Ricky Harden and Thad Moffitt. We already know that Ricky's spun on one of his laps. Looked like he's gotten out for the second one. There he is on screen now. And Moffitt, it doesn't look like he's out on the circuit, so he might be starting from the back of the field. But what about Ricky's second attempt? He'll cross the line, and a 23.6 is going to put him somewhere in the middle, around 20th, it looks like. Not too shabby. That'll at least get him higher than the very back of the field to try and make his way upwards. And a lot of laps out here, at 150 of them to circulate, so he'll have time to try and make up for that if he did have something more than what those efforts seem to imply. So, all right, we've got the field set. We've got drivers ready to go. We've got prizes ready to hand out. We've got voting still open for our viewers. Is there anything that we're missing here before we get going?
I don't think so. We've got the Halloween spirit. We've got the spookiness at an all-time high tonight for Groovy Hollow 4. And we've got a rookie that is sitting on the pole, Joe. Aaron Smith with the fastest time through hot laps and qualifying, in a first-time Groovy Hollow entry for the headrest safe company number 48. He's going to start on the pole position with the 2-time champion right next to him.
Indeed. Let's go through that starting order, as Aaron Smith will be on the pole with David Schildhaus next to him. Ryan Vargas going to be starting in P3. Larry Pace will start 4th, followed by Thomas Kunin. In the 5th position outside of row 3 sees Nathan Coaster. Adam Garza will be in the 7th position, while 8th goes to James Laubach. Dawson Cram in 9th, and Daniel Mosteller in P10. Then in row 6, it's Alex Chilcutt and Blake Lothian.
Wesley Sora going to start to the inside of the 7th row. Dalton Kilroe to the outside in 14th. How about NASCAR regular Brennan Poole and co-host of the Power Hour podcast with Eric Estep? He starts in P15. Kealoha Hankins will start P16 in the Shelby County Speedway entry. Malachi Drake, a 4-time competitor in Groovy Hollow, starting to the inside of the 9th row. Armani Williams and Ricky Harden going to share the 10th row and rounding out the top 20. And one of those Forge Brothers entries in the number 73 starts P21. Art Reimer in the DriveSmartWarranty.com entry in 22nd. Dale Tanhart, Greg Janzak going to round out the first 12 rows on the grid tonight.
Lawless Allen, another rear world driver coming in, starts 25th. He's got Avery Schwab to his outside. Tyler Skozen will be in the 27th spot. Then it's Tim Coombs in P28 and Nick Dwornik in the 29th spot. I think he's got a devil outfit on. I like that. Eric Estep starting back in 30th, and Thad Moffitt, as we said, did not set a time back in 31st. So he's going to have his work cut out for him today. And looks like we're ready to go on the pace lap while we wait for those 2 laps to click by. I have to say, I didn't get to talk about it a little bit earlier, but there is some method to my madness on my costume here, Josh. Have you figured it out yet?
I haven't yet. I think I need the cat let out of the bag.
Okay, so I'm a deer, which is the scariest thing a driver can come across, because you never want to hit a deer, right? So if I wear this whenever I race now, none of the other drivers will want to come near me. So I'm golden. I've cracked the code.
No wonder I didn't get it. I don't think we have deer in Florida. So there's the confusion that comes in. But, you know, I like your thinking. Maybe some of the drivers racing tonight should have employed that same strategy in their costume, because they're going to have drivers all around them when we go racing, and just one more pace lap left until we do that. You mentioned Eric Estep starting back in P30. DJ Yej, his driving coach, and who has been coaching him through all the iRacing stuff that he has been doing as of late to get ready for this very race, said that he's just doing a last to first challenge. So it wasn't a slow qualifying time, Joe. That's all on purpose for Eric.
Ah, okay. Also has method to his madness, it seems, but going to be tough. He's going to have to suck every little ounce of speed out of that car in that vampire costume and try to make his way towards the front as we're getting ready to go racing. Just half a lap here behind the pace car before we are unleashed for 150 laps. It's time for the 4th ever running of Groovy Hollow here at Iowa Speedway, or as they like to call it tonight, Groovy Hollow Speedway. Will we unlock its mysteries as the pace car now peels off and Smith has control of the field? Green flag is out as we take off past the start-finish line, and it's a pretty decent start from the 48 as they plunge down into turn 1.
This is where the challenge comes in of turn 1. All these cars wanting to blend up the racetrack in 2. One car already way up out of the groove, almost running the wall through 1 and 2, but we're still 2 by 2 through the majority of this field. Smith gets away well. Schildhouse not getting a great start. He's already down 2 spots, and we're 3 wide off of 4.
3 wide, but dropping back on the inside. I think that may be Garza having some trouble. He sends it in deep as best he can. Up at the top, the 80 starting to drop back. Excuse me, the 60 of Schildhouse. He's losing a few positions, but he'll continue on at least around 8th or 9th. Not looking like the car has speed here in these early stages. Now up on the high side, looks like Larry Pace is starting to pick it up. He moves into 3rd, maybe trying for 2nd as they go 3 wide for the lead as well.
Schildhouse falling like a rock. Larry Pace wants the lead early. That's Thomas Coonan on the inside, but clearing on the outside line is Larry Pace. The number 86 machine shot out of a cannon to begin this race. The NASCAR Mavericks machine to the front of the pack.
Wow, car looks incredibly strong here in the early stages, but can it hold on to that is the big question. Garza's still running that outside line, trying to see if that'll hold any secrets for him. Does seem like it's got some momentum. A few cars really using that well, Josh, to try and shoot off the turn.
Iowa Speedway, I mentioned it's a short track that races like an intermediate. That is true in multiple ways. It's true in the speed. It's true in the lines that you can take. You can go from the bottom to the top. Any lane works at Iowa, especially over the course of a long run. Tires start to wear. You start to worry about fuel in some cases. You're going to see drivers use every bit and inch of this track, and we're seeing it right now early on in this race. Bottom dominant so far, but the outside line is useful. We saw it from Pace to get the lead. We're seeing it now from a couple of drivers trying to get out of the soup of the mid-pack. We're on board now with the Royal Graphics machine of Blake Lothian as he runs the middle line to the inside. It looks like he's got the number 98 of Presley Sora.
Yep, he runs that middle line, as you said, with 3 wide up in front of him briefly before they kind of siphon back down to 2 wide. The Carrera machine as well, just in front of him. Lothian for the Royalty Graphics. That's the company that actually made the shirts that you can buy from this, modeled by the lovely Josh earlier on. But down the back stretch, just going to hold out for the time being. Lothian maybe just biding his time as it is so early in the race.
Still a lot of laps to go, and we've got estimated about 56 minutes total if we were to go completely green all the way to the end of this race, which, if we go green all the way to the end of this race, as we go on board with Alex Chilcutt, trying to get out of the soup in the middle of the pack, running P13, make it 14 as Presley Sora looks to the outside of number 5. Every time a yellow flag comes out tonight, Joe, we're going to be giving away so many different prizes in the caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing. If there's a caution flag for any reason, Lionel Racing is giving away a 1/24 scale diecast. Everybody needs to go to groovyhollowraceway.com to make sure that they are entered. You never know when a yellow flag is going to come out at Groovy Hollow Raceway. And we thank Lionel Racing for their support of Groovy Hollow 4. And as I mentioned, Joe, everybody's got to go to groovyhollowraceway.com right now to get entered into the giveaway for the 1/24 scale Lionel Racing diecast. We could have a caution any minute now as we get tight off of turn number 2. The toxic waste number 24 of Nathan Lee almost coming down into Alex Chilcutt.
Yeah, doing a good job putting him down one more. Looks like 31 of Kealoha Hankins might take another position away from him as well. As we're starting to get more 2-wide racing here in the mid-pack. But yeah, you're right. Every single caution, a 1/24 scale. And not only that, but they are already made and ready to go. So those are going to get sent out ASAP. So you're not going to have to wait a few months. Those are ready right now. But coming off of turn 4, once again, looks like the 5 has finally gotten back in the line as we get our first caution. Hope you've signed up, folks, and it's on lap 12.
They did not have a long time to get signed up. I hope they're ready for the caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing, but it looks like a pretty simple 2-car incident. Unfortunately, Armani Williams, one of our NASCAR regulars, caught up in this one. Tim Combs is well involved in this one in the number 17. We'll see exactly what caused this first caution flag of the evening, only involving 2 cars, so no love lost throughout the field, but Tim Combs is already into the pit lane. Armani Williams had some big damage to that number 19. He's actually got the hood pushed up over the windshield right now, and we'll get a look at that replay in a moment. But first yellow flag. I'm seeing some people, they just signed up in the chat. Here's the replay, Joe. Combs comes up into the 19, and it looks like Williams might have came down a little bit. I'm going to judge that one as a racing incident to begin our yellow flags of the evening off turn 4. Combs coming up, Williams coming down. Combs with a big hit, and Armani Williams now making his way into the pit lane. So Combs and Williams with a lot of damage to fix. No quick repairs in this race, so everybody going to have to take the normal amount of time to fix all of the damage that they've got on these cars.
And that's going to seriously set them back. But you saw how hard of a hit that was. That was massive on the outside of turn 4. So it's not going to be a short little tape-up job, unfortunately. They'll try and come back from the dead like Frankenstein and see if they can get back in the hunt on this one. But right now it is Thomas Coonan who still leads. Larry Pace, who looked very strong at the start of this one, is still in second, so I wouldn't count him out. But the mystery to me is the 60 of Schildhaus dropping back to 10th. I'm not sure if he's just kind of letting the race come to him, if that was genuine and he lacked pace at the start, or what's going on there.
and he felt like a rock off the start. I mean, he's our biggest loser so far, other than the drivers that were caught up in that wreck. Dalton Kilroy also coming into the pit lane for a moment, but Schildhouse back to 10th. That is surprising out of the driver trying to go 3 in a row. And I got to issue a correction, Joe. I did say there was no quick repairs in the pits tonight. There is 1 quick repair only. So the first time those drivers have damage, they can take that quick repair, basically get a brand new race car, come back onto the racetrack. The reason I said that was Tim Combs is still in the pits dealing with a tow, and is dealing with a long wait for that tow as well. Already 4 laps down.
Wow, that one hurts. Yeah, it looks like he just took that free repair. Both cars took those back out on the track. Armani also a lap down after that incident, so he didn't survive unscathed either. And just so it's clear, we're not blowing smoke about these free diecast cars. Tyler S. is our winner of the first one. So congrats to Tyler S. on that. Again, you still have a chance to head over to groovyhollowraceway.com and sign up for the giveaway. Make sure and get involved in that. And it doesn't matter what causes the caution either, which is the other cool thing on this. It's any of the cautions. So we already have fans sometimes that are just there for the accidents, Josh. I guess this just gives them ulterior motives now.
Yeah, ulterior motives to root for a couple of yellow flags. And if you're thinking, oh, I got to rush to groovyhollowraceway.com and re-sign up before the next yellow, only have to sign up once tonight. Your entry will be good for every single yellow flag that we have tonight. But lights are out on the official iRacing pace car. Getting ready to go back to racing, and Thomas Coonan will lead the field to green. Larry Pace used the outside line to his advantage to get the race lead early. Does he do the same thing on this restart? They've got one of the Forge Brothers entries behind them, though. That number 74 is one of our Forge Brothers entries on the night. Garza was quick in practice. He was quick in qualifying. He is quick in the race. And we're going to see what those Forge Brothers entries can do. The 74, as simple as that paint might be, that car has speed.
Doesn't matter how pretty it is. It matters whether you get to that checkered flag first. Coonan will now take control of the field as the green flag is out quickly here at this track. He gets a pretty good jump. Larry Pace to the outside, starting to drop behind Adam Garza. As you said, one of those Forge Brothers cars looking very strong here. And as he tries to swing up, Pace is going to deny him at first. Now he's got a clearing if he so chooses, but he's going to remain on the low line.
That was almost our second yellow flag of the night, but look at Pace go right back up to the top line, and look at that run he got on the front straightaway. He gets to the outside of Garza into turn 1. He looks back upstairs again for the second time in 1 and 2, pulls up side by side with the 74. That's what we're talking about, Joe. That is what we're going to be mentioning all night long with the multi-groove racing here at Iowa. You can use that wall akin to what we saw in the real world at Homestead Miami Speedway this week. That outside line can get dominant as Pace uses it, gets into second place, looks for the lead now from the 29.
Wow, the purple number 29 is going to have to run away hard here because it looks like Pace really does have that outside line figured out. He's going to, again, ride the high side up in the third lane, try to shoot off the corner. Last time he closed almost to the bumper of Coonan. This time, he gets the run again, but he just runs out of straightaway, that curved front stretch here, down into T1. But as he rides the bumper, eventually something might come his way if we get another long run.
Pace has pace. I mean, he's ran up to the back bumper of Coonan using the outside line like he is right now, but we've got another yellow flag and another 124 courtesy of Lionel Racing gonna be given away here, Joe. Second caution of the night on lap 20.
I think this one was from Alex Chilcutt in the 5, and I think this involved the 66 as well, unfortunately. I also see the 73 of Austin Call may have gotten caught up in it as the pace car emerges once more and tries to pick everybody up. So here we go. Yeah, there's the replay. Just a simple hook, and man, poor Austin had very little he could do to try and avoid that. He tried to dive low, but just couldn't get down soon enough.
that could have been a much worse incident. Don't let Iowa fool you. It can stack up cars really, really quickly. Chilcutt got turned up into the wall, and the wall kind of got him straight a little bit, and he stayed up by that wall, and everybody else doing a great job at wreck avoidance to miss everybody coming down the racetrack. So only a one-car incident to bring out caution flag number 2. Drivers to hit the pit lane. Nathan Lee has came into the pits. We'll see if that number 24 takes tires, fuel, or any combination of the two. Tonight, we're going to see a couple of pit stops. They are going to have to pit before the end of the race no matter what. And it looks like Nathan Lee is going to make his bed on this early strategy. I believe it was fuel only. 6.4 seconds in the pit stall. It is not enough for 4 Goodyear tires and 2 Kansas Sunoco fuel.
Yeah, that's a good point. And same thing with Kilroe and Chilcutt. Seems to have only taken fuel on this stop. Obviously, Alex probably took some repairs. Actually, took his free repair. So Alex, among those that now lacks a safety net out there. That's the one thing about that free repair, Josh, is, yeah, you've got it in your pocket, but as soon as you use it, if it's early in the race, you're suddenly out of a backup that so many others around you do have.
It is exactly that. It's the catch-22 of using that quick repair. You've got it in the pits, and you kind of feel really confident when you start the race. You kind of get into the mindset of, oh, I can race aggressive. If I get in a wreck, if I get damage, all it's going to do is going to set me back. I will be able to get all of my damage repaired. But then once you lose that, you lose all that aggression. You have to. If you get more damage, it's going to be fixing it on pit road, getting repairs upwards of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you lose an engine, upwards of 20, 25 minutes. The race is going to be over in the blink of an eye if you end up having to get down into the pit lane for lengthy repairs. That quick repair comes in handy until you get too aggressive and you lose one. You can't gain another one off of that.
So using it wisely is going to be key here tonight, no doubt. It's already 3 cars having had to use that, and then 3 other cars have also been down pit lane. That's not completely true. At least one of them has done both. That would be Chilcutt. But trying to do a little bit of fuel strategy here in the early stages. We're only on lap 24 just as we cross the line. And with 150 total to do, we're not even close to a quarter of the way through this race. So still lots that could happen out here, as it looks like lights are still on the pace car. So we'll carry on for at least one more lap once we get back to the line. But then hopefully we should be released once again. So we've got 2 more winners. William A. and Allison S. have now won 124 die-cast cars. Congratulations on that. And we've actually got the 164 car here, as well as the shirts that we both have. So I can attest they're very snazzy looking.
I didn't know we were giving away multiple entries in the caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing. That just gives everybody more incentive to enter. You can enter at GroovyHollowRaceway.com. That is also, Joe, where everybody watching right now can go for all the information regarding Groovy Hollow, donating to Extra Life, Toys for Tots, the paint scheme voting. That is wrapping up in 26 minutes exactly. So if you want to vote for your favorite paint scheme tonight, get to GroovyHollowRaceway.com right now. Audiobook, everything about Groovy Hollow, you can go there right now. But there is another look at the 74, one of the Forge Brothers Racing entries, the Forge Brothers Orange number 74. And he's up front, been up front for this whole night. Not good enough to take the lead yet. It's been all Coonan and all pace since we began this night.
Exactly. It's definitely looking like Garza has quite the hot rod. Question is, will it still be this quick come the end of the race? Here we go. Pace car is in. This time it's going to be Coonan leading the way. Pace to the outside. Very similar to last time. Doesn't seem to go all that quick, but he made up that time within a lap, as Adam Garza is going to try and get fully ahead of him this time. Last time, maybe a bit cautious, deciding not to move in front of him. This time, he is definitely not clear. They remain side by side.
Back to turn 3, Coonan with the lead and by a considerable margin. There's Pace back to the top. He's been one of the only drivers. You see Schildhaus trying in the background as well to run closer up to the outside wall. It works at Iowa. You can do that in Iowa, and there's the power that you get on that run. The 86 looks to clear the 74, does it on the back straightaway, and he looks up for the race lead again.
What's interesting to me is now that Garza's been kind of close to him, or at least he was last lap, he had him a little boxed in, so he couldn't do much with it, even though he was very close to Thomas Coonan. Just had no place to go. As we go to Nathan Coaster, now just behind this group. He sits in 5th, kind of hovering around there, up 1 from where he started in this race. And behind Aaron Smith, who was our pole sitter, as we get another caution very quickly. And oh no, it's the Halloween machine.
Go. Not the Halloween machine. Eric. He's had GJ with him for multiple weeks to train, and he gets in a scuffle on the back straightaway. Bad news for all the fans rooting for Eric Estep is we see his distraught look in the sim. Bad news for all the Eric Estep fans. Good news on the flip side, because we're going to give away more goodies courtesy of Lionel Racing.
Exactly. So another one being handed out now. Eric didn't get hit very hard from what I could see, but we'll check the replay on that and just make sure that the car is not damaged. But somebody must have pulled out their garlic for a bit, and he got a little phased by that. He'll be back and running here as he's already caught the back of the pack. And we'll come across the line once again. So a lot of yellows here in these early stages. First 30 laps of this race, and this is yellow number 3, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, third yellow, third giveaway, courtesy of Lionel Racing and the caution flag giveaways. There was the incident with the Halloween machine. A fairly soft incident. I think he got in the bumps in turn number 1, naturally upsets the car, naturally promotes understeer. Car wants to go straight to the wall, and unfortunately, Thad Moffitt in the 46 was up there holding his line. Nothing Thad did wrong. I don't think really anything Eric did wrong, just the car got upset in turn 1. Relatively soft hits as well. Still has the quick repair. He hasn't taken it yet. He hasn't even hit pit road yet, so it looks like a DJ EJ, who is also with him in voice chat right now to talk him through the duration of tonight's race. They do not think that he needs to come down and use the repair or repair any damage or grab new tires. It was a fairly soft wreck, so Eric's going to stay on the track, P27.
Yeah, looks like he feels like the car feels fine enough. He doesn't need to do anything to it. While we get one car down, not quite on pit lane. Looks like Dawson Cram and somebody actually going across the tri-oval where they've got that little paved portion. That is strange. Not sure what exactly they're trying to do there, except maybe save a little bit of fuel. But looks like they're already getting ready to go once again. They've shortened the pacing here, and we'll go back to green flags in a moment. Some of our big movers so far in this race: Dale Tanhart up 10 spots, Nick Dwarnick also up 10 spots, and then you've got Thad Moffitt, who's actually up 8 despite being involved in that latest incident. So definitely some drivers that are capitalizing on the woes of others in these early stages. Kyle S., by the way, our winner of the latest 124 diecast. Green flag is out, and once again it seems that Thomas Coonan has got this one timed out very, very good. He keeps jumping away as soon as that green flies.
And remember, in the iRacing service, we do have the Geico restart zone, and it is enabled on this race, so everybody waits until that restart zone is hit. Leader has discretion inside that restart zone on where they want to go. Coonan's been getting a great jump. He moves upstairs to try and cover off a fast-moving Larry Pace. Side by side for second, make it almost 3 wide for the lead, but the Ford Brothers 74 looks for the race lead.
Garza nearly had it as Thomas Coonan shoots back ahead once more. There's only so much he could do to hold off 2 drivers who clearly are quite fast. He could block one, but he can't block them both.
And blocking is going to be so challenging here at Iowa because you go into the corners and look at them. They fan out to whatever lane that they think is going to be the best. Pace looks to the outside of the 29, not able to do much there. Side by side in the background for a moment. Aaron Smith trying to get by Nathan Coaster for fourth. There goes Pace back up to the outside as we now look on board with Nathan Coaster, National Metering South entry, making his Groovy Hollow rookie appearance tonight. Experienced iRacer, first time joining us here in Groovy Hollow.
And I dig the Berlin Raceway shirt that he's got on as well. Being from Michigan, no big surprise there. And you can see that high line just being stuck to by Larry Pace. He's not going anywhere. This time, though, he gets a massive run. He's going to poke his nose down to the inside. Is he going to get fully clear is the question. Thomas to the outside now tries to use that momentum to slingshot past, and it's going to work. But Larry Pace is now starting to make serious inroads on this one.
They were side by side. Now the 29 has him clear. Does he go upstairs to try and cover off the block? He does, but he is clear by a considerable margin. That was not a good turn 3 and 4 from Larry Pace. Back to turn 1. Top 3 can shove a blanket over him right now. They've been running close together the entire night so far, and Pace might be starting to lose a bit of grip in those Goodyear tires, might be starting to feel the effects of a racetrack starting to get rubbered in as we're side by side further behind. Daniel Musteller with Dawson Cram to the outside. One of those NASCAR regulars joining us tonight, Joe, in that number 13 Junkyard Jack Dash colors on Cram's machine. 31 Xfinity starts, 32 starts in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Had his best finish in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year of 24th. Happy to see him joining us here at Groovy Hollow.
Yeah, fantastic to have more of the real-world pros joining in. He's going to shoot off the corner past Mosteller. But again, we're finding that momentum is blunted by the car ahead. That's Ryan Vargas, another of our real-world competitors, just in front of him and not letting him go anywhere quite yet.
Starting to see some traffic through the mid-pack, and that's kind of what we expected. Everybody is starting to get wear in these Goodyear tires. We're at unofficially 39 laps in the stint, as basically since we started this race. Not a lot of drivers have come into the pits unless they have had an issue on the racetrack that needed repaired. So far, we have not run that many laps under green. This is the longest green flag run we've had so far with the tires wearing as they are. Some drivers might have a little bit too much wear.
Exactly. Well, and that makes me curious, as this looks like a pretty good run there for Dawson, but just nothing for him to do. He just keeps getting stuck behind Vargas. But I was curious, Josh, so if we do get a green flag run, what are you thinking? Is this going to be tire limited or fuel limited?
Yes. I think they're gonna need to pit for fuel. 150 laps on a tank at Iowa, it would be impressive nonetheless. But the tire wear is going to become a factor, especially if we do stay green for a long period of time. But a driver that has been struggling so far might be hoping for a long green flag run to separate himself. David Schildhaus in the 60, the two-time winner of Groovy Hollow, now looking for 3 race wins in a row at the Groovy Hollow Raceway. We're looking on board with him once again. Still in P10 after starting up in second place. He is down 8 spots from where he began tonight. And in his third Groovy Hollow appearance, looking for his 3rd race win. The experience in the iRacing service, he made a run at the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series in multiple seasons. A long green flag run might help him out. He might have better long run speed trying to save those Goodyear tires.
Tell you what, Mosteller's move really was an impressive one. He was able to shoot off the turn, not just an overtake Cram, but he was able to get fully ahead of Vargas there. So he's managed to finally kind of move his way forward. We were watching from Schildhaus there for a while. Just behind him now, Vargas has been shuffled all the way down to 10th, and it's Brennan Poole who is on the attack. Brennan now going to the high side. Real-world drivers actually kind of hovering around to one another a lot in this stage of the race.
Vargas, of course, a driver in the iRacing service, but also running right now over on the Euro NASCAR scene. Brennan Poole, of course, co-host the Power Hour podcast with Eric Estep, running the True Terror Publications Grey Ghost machine, as we've got a battle for the race lead. Back up again. Pace on the outside line again. Coonan on the inside line again. We've seen this story plenty of times in the first 46 laps of this race. Does it go the way of Pace for the first time?
I think so. Yep, there it is. He's able to finally complete the pass, and I think that's exactly what he had been looking for. He wanted that outside line to try and get by fully. Now that he was able to do it, will Adam Garza be able to follow him through? Because he's starting to approach on the 29, who continues to go low, is really dedicated to having that shorter line, but I just don't think it's working now that we've gone a number of laps into this stint.
And back to the outside line now goes the Forge brothers, entering in the number 74 and looking for spots as well, with Pace still in the lead. Now Garza moves to P2, Coonan drops to P3. Mentions tire wear. We're starting to see this abrasive racetrack, unlike the strips of repave that we had in the real world, Joe, that has not made its way into the virtual iRacing scan of Iowa Speedway. This track is very, very abrasive.
Exactly, and Garza was trying to see if he could catch up to Pace, but no dice. Still, he's moved into P2 now. Has Coonan's time come and gone? He doesn't seem to think, though, as he looked to the inside, but we've jumped back to Tyler Skozen in the meantime for the University of Northern Ohio car. Kind of working a middle line at this stage, and looks like Laubeck has got the likes of Dawson Cram on the ropes a bit, trying to play defense.
Skozen, a student of University of Northwestern Ohio as well. Of course, anybody looking for a background in high performance, looking to get into the motorsports industry, University of Northwestern Ohio is one of the best places that you can do that. Great to see Tyler Skozen representing his college, representing where he's going to school right now. Battle for the lead, back up. The Forge brothers are quick. Garza is quick, not quick enough. He settles for second place. Coonan back to the inside in 3.
Man, a mystery car logs in on a Halloween event and suddenly they're spooky fast. Adam Garza is definitely looking like he is one to watch out for. He gave an attempt on Larry Pace, just couldn't quite seal the deal. He's got to watch out, though, because it looks like Coonan is kind of holding him accountable a little bit. He's still right with him. He hasn't dropped off yet.
The pace of these leaders compared to everybody behind them is honestly right now impressive. You got to look back about 8.5 tenths, make it 9 tenths to fourth place there, Nathan Coaster, to get to the rest of the pack. I mean, these top 3 are pulling away, not too quickly, but they are setting the pace at the front of this field as you look off the back of the number 86, the NASCAR Mavericks or Ford Mustang, excuse me, in the front of Larry Pace. There's the move again in 3 and 4 for the 29. He pulls up even on the inside line, but it's just not enough of a run. What does the 74 have in turn 1? He looks to the inside for the lead.
He's got that bottom line, but both he and Pace have preferred the higher line. So once again, just looks like the low line is not giving you the speed that you need, especially to try and complete a pass. We're going to see it attempted by Coonan once again as Adam now holds behind Larry Pace coming through 3 and 4. They'll cross the line to start lap 55. We're already past a third of the way through this event, and we're still yet to see pit stops for much of the field. So we are wondering, if this green keeps going, who is the first to blink and who will find the right way to capitalize on it. Down to the bottom side once again, this time for second and third. By the way, if you keep seeing the Extra Life things up there, you can help donate to this fantastic cause live in time. We got links in the description below, and you'll see a gauge up at the top of the screen that will be updated as the race goes on. So help make that green bar grow all the way as high as we can get it to go and help a worthy cause as we continue our side-by-side racing. Now the battle's for P2.
And that battle is on with Coonan now settling for third. That was Adam Garza, the 74, that now it looks back on the offense to Larry Pace in second. We've been mentioning these Forge brothers a lot, and it seems like every time we do a Groovy Hollow, Joe, we end up with more lore added to the story. We end up with things happening that we haven't expected, random things happening that seems like just only happen in Groovy Hollow. Adam Garza in the 74, as well as Austin Call, who runs in the 73, running P17 right now. These are the Forge brothers. They showed up right before qualifying. They rushed their cars through tech inspection. They passed, and they got on the racetrack for qualifying, and now get on the racetrack in this race. Garza doing a great job at running up front, running in second place. Can he be another one of these Halloween mysteries to walk away with a win? The first Groovy Hollow, we saw that with Josh Berry behind the wheel of the Halloween machine as the Ghost. Does one of the mystery entries in either the Forge Orange or the Forge Yellow entry go to victory lane tonight?
Well, this is the fourth entry in the series, and if we're going by horror rules, that's when things either get rebooted or, you know, they change directors or something. So, of course, things are going to get mixed up out here, and the viewers get thrown for a loop. It looks like Pace and Garza trying to do that themselves. A bump draft down the back straightaway and actually getting loose as we take a look back at our leaders. Once again, Garza's not messing around, and he's getting physical.
Getting physical quick as well. He wants this race lead, maybe to see some pit stops on the horizon as well. Of course, green flag stops always breed. Whoever's out in front is going to have a more likelihood of staying up front through those stops, but he got up to the back bumper at Pace and then kind of fell off a handful. Kunin now to the inside, looking for that second spot over Garza off of 4. Garza keeps it with another run on the outside.
Maybe wasn't quite as happy. Maybe he thought that contact didn't have the desired results and he didn't intend to try and rattle his cage. Whatever the case, they now settle down for a little bit as we go back to Presley Sora. Farther back in the field.
Whoa.
Oh, and just going by, is that Nick Dwornik, I think?
That was Dwornik that got loose on the front straightaway, made some contact with the 0 of Ricky Harden, and ended up taking a bit of a tumble through the infield. He kept it straight, no yellow flag, no caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing, unfortunately. But the 6 car now of Dwornik off the pace, P25, having to defend now on Dalton Kilroy in the 63. No yellow flag for this incident, keeping it green flag racing as we inch ever so closely to halfway done in this race as well.
Obviously, devilish handling on that number 6 now that we've gotten some laps on these cars. Still waiting for many of them to pit in, but Nathan Lee, Alex Chilcutt, and Malachi Drake each have more fuel than the rest of the field, and they've all been kind of climbing up through the field as well. So they're still looking quick, even though they did not take tires on that last pit stop. Dalton Kilroy now in 25th, like we were watching before. Trying to keep the likes of Nick Dwornik just behind him, but he sees a good battle in front of him as well with Lothian and Sora fighting for 23rd.
Kilroy, who we were just on board with as well, has his 4th Groovy Hollow appearance tonight. A good amount of the field are multi-time Groovy Hollow racers, but we've also got a considerable amount of first-time racers with us tonight as well, experiencing the Groovy Hollow Raceway, experiencing Groovy Hollow 4 with us for the first time tonight here in 2024, as we preview a battle now with the 24 Toxic Waste Sour Candy entry and the 91 up the road as well. This is the battle for P16. Dale Tanhart in this group as well, behind Lawless Allen, one of the other NASCAR regulars that we've got racing for us tonight in the number 25 machine. Great to see all these NASCAR regulars, and of course Allen this year for Reinbret Brothers Racing had his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series top 10 a couple of weeks ago at Talladega. He pilots the Auto Parkit number 25 for his 3rd Groovy Hollow appearance tonight.
Certainly a mixed up battle here. Reimer trying to run the middle, Tanhart trying to run up the high side. That'll give him a nice little boost past the start finish line. Nathan Lee in behind them, giving Watch, the first of the drivers that has that little bit extra fuel in this battle. Each of them definitely picking their own line. This is a very raceable track, as you can see, but it is still bumpy, as Josh mentioned. It's not the repaved version like you have in real life. This is still the old one. Coming off the corner, big moment there for Nathan trying to catch the car.
And Joe, an update on tire wear as we look at Nathan Lee, Toxic Waste Sour Candy on that 24. Bit of damage to the back bumper of that Chevy Camaro. He did get into a bit of an incident earlier on involving the Halloween machine of Eric Estep, but an update on tire wear. Everybody about 1 second right now off the pace from where they began this race. Best lap times around 23.7, even getting down into a 23.5 from Larry Pace. Now they're about a 24.7, pretty much common throughout the entirety of the field right now. So those tires are starting to wear. They're starting to lose a bit of grip. They are starting to blend up towards the outside wall. These cars are starting to get tight. And something else that everybody at home can watch to know those tires are wearing here at Iowa, majority of the field now starting to choose the outside line instead of the inside to have a little bit of a wider entry, keep the speed in the car, not have to turn it so much to get to the bottom as we go on board with Craig Janzak back in P22.
It's Ricky Harden battling with Austin Call just in front of him. 73 has had a little bit of contact earlier, but he's going to avoid it here as Craig dives down to the inside of turn 3. He'll slide up. Nicely done. Perfect execution of a slide job, and that will gift him 21st place. But a nice cut back there from Austin, at least briefly, gives him a thought at trying to come back at him. Nothing doing at this stage, sadly.
And as we reach this stage, as we see Presley Sora go to the inside of one of the Forge Brothers entries in the number 73. Real quick on Sora, if you're looking for a young up-and-coming driver to root for as they go up through the NASCAR national ranks, look no further than Presley Sora. He's been racing on the iRacing service for plenty of years. He's running the Matrix Apparel number 98. He's an ARCA Series competitor, but we are under the yellow flag again. Dawson Cram into the wall. And this changes the strategy. 2 laps short of halfway, Joe, and we're giving away more goodies courtesy of Lionel Racing.
I see Kealoha Hankins also involved in that one. We'll find out who won the latest 124 scale diecast on this caution flag. If you're just joining us, if you head on over to Groovy Hollow Raceway, is it Raceway or Speedway? My mind is now.
GroovyHollowRaceway.com.
Raceway. Okay, I got it right. GroovyHollowRaceway.com. You can sign up for a free giveaway we're doing all race long. Every yellow flag 124 scale diecast is being handed out, and you can get in on that even right now. And you only have to sign up once. As we expected, pretty much everybody heads down pit lane. Those tires are toast. They want rid of them. They want some fresh rubber and to get some grip back.
All right, so what did we learn before we got into this yellow flag with the pit stops? That everybody can make it to halfway. There's the replay of Dawson Cram, a big hit to the outside wall from the 13. That was contact with the number 31 of Kealoha Hankins and ends up with a hard hit to the outside wall. But what did we learn? We learned that they can make it to halfway on both tires and fuel, especially with a handful of cautions. So expect if we go green to the end that nobody else has to pit in this race. Now, we get more yellow flags. We're definitely going to see more drivers coming into the pit lane to put fresh shoes on. But if we go green to the end, that is going to be it for pit stops. That is going to be it for the virtual pit crews. We will race all the way to the checkered flag. They can on a tank of fuel. Tires becomes the big question mark, especially if we get more caution flags.
Exactly. It sounds like we have a chance to chat with Eric Estep. While we pull him in, we can report that Kylie C has won the car for the diecast car for this caution. In fact, I just saw that Eric headed down into pit lane. That's interesting. And he's just been in, and he's coming to a halt in his stall, so I don't think this is serving any sort of black flag.
Joe, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he missed his pit stall in the first go by.
Oh, no.
Listen. He's being... Okay. Eric, in this race, was not planned to race this one, okay? He was not planned to race in Groovy Hollow. He now is running against his will, we think. The Halloween machine always tends to choose a driver. This year, it chose Eric. And tonight, driving like a man possessed in that number 4. The man possessing him should get a little bit quicker, though. He's been in the mid-20s throughout the entire race. We'll see what he's got as we go through the remainder of this race. But looks like, Joe, we're going to get a chance to talk to Eric.
Oh. Indeed. Eric, so you've come down the second time. We understand that maybe you got distracted by a very attractive vampire at the side of the track or something. What does this do for your race? Because you were making progress.
Slowly but surely. Maybe not on the leaderboard, but on the stopwatch, I feel confident. No, I was a little distracted. DJ EJ and I, my crew chief, spotter, coach, mentor, life coach, all that, all of the above, was talking me through a few different strategy options. I think we're opting to hold off on putting our one set of tires on. I think we're banking on a quick caution, hopefully, and then maybe we can have a slight advantage and try to work our way towards the top 20. It's a big gamble, but you know, it's Halloween. You got to have some fun. You got to be different. That's what we're doing.
Well, we also saw that you had a little run-in earlier. How much damage is on the car, if any?
I think a little right front damage. I wouldn't know. The car feels tight every time I go in the corner, no matter what. So it honestly doesn't feel any worse for the wear to me. But yeah, slipped into my buddy Thad. I hope he doesn't hold that over me too bad.
All right. Well, one last one before we let you go. Has the car allowed you any sort of relaxation? Has the spirit of the Halloween machine managed to give you a chance to relax at all, or is it keeping you stressed?
I've never been to the chiropractor before, but I might have to do that tomorrow. I'm a little tight right now. The car is tight. I'm physically tight, but the vibes are loose and laid back. That's what's most important.
That's good. Well, best of luck out there, and good job so far.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good show.
Eric Estep driving the Halloween machine this time and getting sent to the back a little bit, but try and make up for that. A little bit of an oops maybe costing him, at least temporarily, partway through the race. Now the pace car gets ready to peel off once more. And now we have Daniel Mosteller, who started in 10th at the top of the field with a two-tire stop. Green flag is out. Daniel takes off. Will this pay off as he now has David Schildhaus starting behind him?
Schildhaus, I think, took the same strategy, and Schildhaus, at least, is getting eaten alive. Middle three wide, gets to the outside line. Now trying to siphon the bleeding that we saw in the beginning of the race from Schildhaus. Starting to see it again. 3 wide behind. That is Coonan, one of the Forge brothers. Adam Garza in the 74. Aaron Smith to the inside to 1. Battle for the lead. Pace to the outside again of Mosteller. Pace again to the race lead.
Looks like 2 tires is not the call. Drivers suffering of those who tried this strategy. They go down to the low side, seeing everybody start to stream by. I don't know if them going to the low side is necessarily strategic so much as maybe the car just does not have grip to try that high line now.
And Schildhaus doing the same exact thing, just albeit at a slower pace than Mosteller in the 80. Just not going anywhere they need to. It's a worthy strategy. We have already gotten 4 yellow flags tonight. We could get plenty more. We're just over halfway done in this race. We still have plenty of time left to go. And everybody has plenty of time to go to GroovyHollowRaceway.com. Not only can you donate to Extra Life, can you enter our caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing, but Joe, they can buy the Halloween machine, a 1/64th scale Halloween machine. It's not a pre-order. You buy it right now. It ships tomorrow. You can own that number 4. What Eric Estep is driving right now in sim, you can own in real life. GroovyHollowRaceway.com, where everybody need to go for that. All the information on Groovy Hollow, all the donation links, and to enter our caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing.
So lots of stuff, lots of reason to head on over there. But right now, I think a little bit distracted by this fight. Coaster is more interested in trying to get by pace. Larry is unwilling to let go of his grasp in these early stages. This is not a shock, as we saw something similar out of him at the start of the first time that he came up to the front here early on in the race. But it does look like Nathan has a pretty quick car. They'll come across to start lap 85 of this event. He's been trying to show himself down to the bottom side. Can't seem to get side by side, but the car looks relatively good on that line for the 95.
Joe, unfortunately for our NASCAR regulars, I'm not noticing a lot of them up towards the front. You know what I am noticing, though? A lot of our avid iRacers up towards the front. Nathan Coaster is one of them. Larry Pace, who leads. Adam Garza, the Forge brothers. Thomas Coonan in 4th. Justin Laubach, who makes his way into the top 5 for the first time tonight in that number 7. And then you got Ryan Vargas back there, one of our NASCAR regulars, but came up through the iRacing ranks. You can hear him on a handful of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series broadcasts and a handful of the eNASCAR Contender iRacing Series broadcasts. He came up through iRacing, now running in the Euro NASCAR Series as caution flag number 5, and another giveaway is on the horizon.
Looks like this one was Nathan Lee with a little bit of Avery Schwab involved. Once again, this is going to be an incident on the backstretch as they get picked up on the pace car there. Pace ahead of Coaster, ahead of Coonan. There is the replay, and the toxic waste machine gets wasted, unfortunately, with a hit to the outside. And we'll see whether or not the 24 decides to come in next time around. Definitely too early for the rest of the drivers to pit in, as we're only 12 laps since they've last been down the lane. And as we've seen, those tires can last a decent while. And it seems track position going to be somewhat important. Not the end-all be-all, but you definitely don't want to wind up towards the back. I see Nathan coming in. Looks like E-Step is going to join along with a handful of others.
Yeah, it didn't work out, I think, the way Schildhaus and Mosteller wanted for their 2-tire stop. But now we've got a decent amount of drivers that are working their way into the pits here, including that Halloween machine of Eric Estep. He's got DJ EJ, Justin Yee up in the spotter stand and in the pits for him. Looks like that strategy might be starting to work out, especially if he gets a couple of more caution flags and a couple of more pit stops.
Well, while we are under caution, we just have a very brief break. We'll be back with more coverage before we go back to green. Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. We're here for Groovy Hollow 4, and it has been very much the Larry Pace show up at the front, setting the pace for the rest of the field. But he's had a few drivers that have been challenging him, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing as they go side by side once more. From what we've seen so far, Josh, I mean, what are you thinking is the big keys here? What do you need to do to come away with a checkered flag?
I think right now it's managing the cautions. I mean, we know we're going to see more. I doubt it we're going to go completely green to the end. We've already seen 5 yellow flags tonight. A couple of the strategies are going well. A lot of the field is taking form. Might be the last time that they really pit tonight unless we get a caution late.
All right, it's green flag racing once again. And Larry Pace really got a huge jump this time. He is far and away from the field before they get down into turn 1. Garza and the Forge brothers, number 74, is going to take that second place away from Coaster, at least so he thinks. The 95 tries to cut back underneath him down the backstretch, but can he keep the speed up on the bottom side?
It's an aggressive move from the 95, but I like it. Coaster's ready to race as we've got Laubach and Vargas side by side behind them. Back to turn number 1. Where does everybody choose to run? Majority of the field through the middle. Almost contact between the 28 and the 60. Into the 91's loose on the inside. That's our Reimer.
Boy, things getting fierce in here at this stage as the 25 moves to the high side. Lawless Allen trying to follow Schildhaus through. That's not a bad bet to throw your hat in with him. Oh, we make contact side by side as the 91 gets a little touch with the 25.
They touch, but no spin out, no yellow flag yet. We'll see what happens. This is a bit of a bee's nest going through turn 3 now, side by side, 3 rows deep. That red and white number 60 on the outside of Schildhaus. Remember, he took 2 tires on the last set of pit stops, now running about the 2 tires that he's got, 18 laps, 93 on the other 2, 3 wide, the 80's in the middle.
This 3 wide is getting a little close out there. They need to give each other some space to try and get out of this. The 11 of Malachi Drake up on the high side is going to try and shoot off the corner. That seems to be the popular place to be. But question is, will it work as well for him as he gets faded up just slightly up the hill. The 80 of Mosteller behind them is, well, in the thick of it, stuck in the middle, quite literally.
Let's see what everybody around them can do. This is the thick of the field. We're on board with Craig Janzak right now, who runs P15. It scopes into the inside in the number 1 UNOH.edu entry to turn number 1. That 80 up in front as well, with Dustin Mosteller driving that number 80. It's a tribute to David Smith. He's running his first Groovy Hollow entry, but a throwback paint scheme, and the Smith Racing entry in the number 80 on the outside now. At Janzak as he looked to the inside in the 88.
Aaron Smith down to the bottom in the meantime in the number 48. Wow, up to the high side though. The 88 of Janzak is going to make it 3 wide once again. He's given just enough room to the outside wall. He swings it into the third lane, coming through 3 and 4. He will get by Mosteller, but Janzak is not going to be able to keep ahead of Aaron Smith, who does a smooth job of running the low side for a 2 for 1.
All that 3 wide we saw, those multiple rows of 2x2, we've settled out now throughout the majority of the mid-pack, and we are now majority single-filed. 48 goes to the inside, and now Janzak does the same thing on the 1 of Tyler Scopeson, and through turn 4, they're side-by-side for a handful of rows, but this is getting stuck in. This is getting settled into the run. Will we see another long green flag run like we saw after our first handful of yellow flags? We're going to have to wait and find out. If we do get a long green flag run, we already know who's going to be quick. I expect Schildhaus to gain or lose a little bit of speed with those 2 tires. I expect drivers like Art Reimer, Malachi Drake, James Laubach, and the iRacing experience to start getting faster as the run goes on, knowing the tire management that it takes here at Iowa.
Yeah, they had a bit of a shaky start there, and once they got the rust off, those cautions have definitely gone significantly away. We've seen much more longer green flag runs here in the middle of the race, but will the intensity ramp up? Will we see more cautions come the very end when drivers get more desperate to come away with that victory? As we watch on board with Scozen briefly, one of those that, like we said, is really in a lot of the chaos here in the mid-pack. You really have to keep your wits about you with the cars all running so many different lines. You don't want to lose track of where your competitors are.
This is where that racing is right now. It is around this group right here in the mid-teens. Right now, where they stand, this is not the whole battle. I mean, Schildhaus going to the outside now for 9th. At the front of this pack, it's a 91 of Reimer in 7th. But you can go all the way back to P16, Mosteller. I'd even throw Thad Moffitt into that. They're all within a handful of time on the racetrack. About within 1 second right now in this whole pack is sitting about 10 cars. They are running close here at Iowa because we are off the heels of another caution flag, which, Joe, if everybody hasn't entered on GroovyHollowRaceway.com, I don't know what they're doing while they're watching this broadcast, but they need to get there now before the next yellow flag.
And for the 46, man, what a race it has been for him. Remember, he was the only driver that did not set a qualifying time, coming from the very back, now up into 17th. So he's made it to the mid-pack. Can he get higher than that from here? As we watch him shoot off the corner, a little bit of a challenge from behind him, Presley Sora. Unfortunately, his connection's been a bit poor. He has been given a warning by race control on that. Let's hope that it clears up. I'd hate to see it ended due to that.
And our race control team, of course, helping to run Groovy Hollow 4, Evan Pasoko, a very familiar name, Joshua Mendoza, and Trevin Valderrama doing the race control duties for us tonight for Groovy Hollow 4. So you mentioned Joe, 46, Thad Moffitt, been given that warning. No other race control interference yet tonight. Drivers were given a reminder about no lane changes until after the start finish on the restarts. But that is all that race control has had to do tonight. No black flags, no inconsistent penalties, nothing like that yet as we sit with 46 to go.
Watching the 42 car of Ryan Vargas now. He's just ahead of Malachi Drake, who's trying to run up a little higher in that number 11 to use that to his advantage. He's going to be able to pull up alongside. And then Brennan Poole is the one that you see sitting in front of them in the number 28. Coming down through 1 and 2. That's going to be a big checkup for Vargas. Now he can't use the speed coming off the corner either. The 11 has chosen wisely.
And Ryan Vargas in that number 42. I gotta say, I'm loving all of those Junkyard Jacks paint schemes that we've got on 3 of these cars tonight. Vargas in the 42 being one of them in the Smash entry. Second Groovy Hollow appearance for Ryan Vargas in the 42. He looks to the inside. Malachi Drake in the 11. Malachi is making his 4th Groovy Hollow appearance in that OptiCoat number 11. He's a veteran of this race. Paying off right now. The number 11 is P11.
Yeah, he's been at every edition of the film, so you can't kill him off now. You got to hold on to him. We'll see if he can make it to the finish before the killer catches him. So we take a look at that 46 once again. Moffitt is his internet now holding. No, it is not, unfortunately. Still a little bit of blinking happening. He's just ahead of Eric Estep and the Halloween machine, who's made his way back up to 20th.
I really wish we could take a better look at Thad Moffitt's entry, because guess what? I mentioned the paint scheme contest, or the voting for best paint scheme was going to end at 9 o'clock. It has ended. We've got the results, and that tastyduck.com number 46 of Thad Moffitt wins the best paint scheme voted on by all of the fans for Groovy Hollow 4. I gotta say, I don't agree. It's a great looking paint, but I mentioned those Junkyard Jacks paint schemes, the comic book scheme, they just look too good. And come on, the Halloween machine as well, Circle B diecast and out of the groove on that number 4.
Well, it's because it's duck season. That's the simple answer. That's why the Tasty Duck one, car won. As we go to Eric Estep now, he's managed to overtake that 46. So make that P19 for Eric, who's been a bit up and down the field. Look in front of him, though. My goodness. Chilcutt, Mosto, Dwornik, Sora. Hard to make out who is doing what in here as they each pick a line, each and every corner. 3 wide around turns 3 and 4, but it is Sora who comes out ahead of the group.
I see the chat going crazy for Eric Estep into the top 20 as well. First time that he has made his way up into the top 20 tonight, and he is approaching this gaggle of cars here. It's Scoxon, Sora, Chilcutt, and more as they work their way off turn 2, back into turn 3. The side-by-side now is between the 80 and the 6 of Dwornik and Mosteller. Where does Estep try and go? Where is his coach, DJ EJ, gonna guide him through this battle? How far can Estep get up and into this field?
Estep out for blood, apparently. Quickly picking him up and putting him down. He's going to try and do so with Dwornik up first in the number 6 as he approaches. The 6 is going to go high. Eric is going to go low. Dwornik should be faster coming off the corner, and that's exactly what happens. In fact, he's now going to try and attack Mosteller just in front. Once again, going to look to the bottom side, getting very close to that quarter panel, though, is the 4.
The Halloween machine looks like it's driving Eric, Joe. Where did this speed come from? He's into the top 20. Make him up into P18 with the pass on the 6. He completes it off of 4. No! Barely getting that outside quarter panel up to Nick Dwornik.
Oh, now he's going to be able to finally fully complete the pass. So Dwornik has been demoted. Moved the 4 car into 18th place. Up next, Daniel Mosteller in the number 80 machine. It looked like it was a pretty straightforward move for Eric on the first car. Will it be likewise in the second as we watch on board with Dwornik?
Dwornik in the 6, another one of the drivers that we've been looking at for some solid speed so far tonight. He's got some real-world racing experience as well up in Canada, representing National Metering, another one of those cars again tonight, and making his first Groovy Hollow appearance. There was a side-by-side battle for the lead for a moment between Pace and the Forge Brothers number 74 entry of Garza. That fizzled out for the moment. They're back to side-by-side. A pass was not made. Is a pass completed now off of 4? They almost make contact for the race lead.
He's going to try to come back at him. Pace wants that position back. Garza has the inside. He's tried this before, but it's usually the outside that works. Now it's the inside that works, but he overshoots the corner. Here he comes right back at him. Larry Pace is going to pick that up, and this actually allows Coaster to get into the battle as well now. Look at this. Is he going to be able to use the low side? He is looking on fire.
Forge Brothers Yellow, number 74, sending sliders at Iowa. He couldn't get the lead, and that did hurt him. Now side by side for third, it's Coaster and Coonan, the familiar faces we have seen up front all night, Joe. They're starting to throw some Hail Marys, starting to throw their haymakers as we go on board with Coaster. Look at the focus. The racing might be virtual, but it means all the same to all these racers running in Groovy Hollow 4.
And now Coonan is in the mix, but Coaster, leaning like he's Michael Jackson, is giving it everything he can. He thought maybe that was going to be his opportunity to get to the front when those two were battling, and now they are wise to him being there. It's going to be even harder for him to try to get by.
And now back to the bottom goes Coonan in the 29. What does this do? It invites a couple of third parties. James Lauback in the 7 starting to close in. You can see that 7 orange and black machine. Chevy Camaro further back in your viewpoint. The 48 of Aaron Smith in 6th also catching this group. It's what the side-by-side does. It's what the slide jobs do. Side-by-side racing is not fast racing. If they get single file, they might be able to string themselves back out like we've seen plenty of times tonight. But all they want to do is go battling, and I think all we want these viewers to do at home, Joe, other than enjoying this racing, go to GroovyHollowRaceway.com. Toys for Tots, brand new charity that we're helping this year.
I know everybody would prefer that Christmas time not be brought up before Halloween is over, but you got to think about it, and there's a lot of kids that could use your help, so go on over to GroovyHollowRaceway.com and help out some needy children with Toys for Tots. But our top 6, separated by merely a second, are all about 4 seconds ahead of the next cars back. It has been a real breakaway. Even with the battling, this top group has just been unbelievably quick.
And remember the names that we've got up here at the front. Larry Pace making his first career Groovy Hollow appearance in that NASCAR Mavericks number 86. Look to second place. The 74 of Adam Garza. He was one of those late entries. The Forge Brothers, we talked about it. We had 29 planned entries. We get 2 extra ones right before qualifying goes green. The 74 is one of them. Can they make their statement? The Forge Brothers in Groovy Hollow Raceway. Can they walk away in victory lane?
Thomas Coonan was trying that low lane once again, just isn't quite working. But remember, he looked incredibly fast himself a little bit earlier on. Is this his car kind of coming into its own? Is he stronger later in the runs in comparison to some of these front runners? Watch out for Aaron Smith. He was our pole sitter. We know he can bring out the outright pace when he wants to. Lauback is in the 7 just behind them at the back of that group as they now come on to lap 126. 25 laps left to go. We are in the dying stages.
We're in the dying stages, yes, with 25 to go, but we could still see plenty of yellow flags. We could still see these drivers get aggressive and start wrecking each other. We could still see more pit stops. Joe, if we get a caution right now, I put money down that we see the entire field hit pit lane for Goodyear tires. These tires are starting to get relatively worn. We're a second off the pace. Actually, we're right around the green flag window that we saw one of our previous cautions come out at. So these drivers know this tire wear. They want to get these Goodyears off. They're starting to lose their grip. They're starting to get tight. They're starting to want to get up towards the outside wall. When do we see that yellow flag come out? If we do at all.
That's a good question. And how close will it wind up being to the end? Because that could play a part in it too. You don't want to pit too close to that checkered flag. As they come around, they've also started to hit lap traffic, like trying to wade through the sea of zombies. Can the leaders manage to get through unscathed, or will it offer a pit for one of those behind?
Side by side for the lead, maybe. That's a lapped machine, one of our junkyard jacks on the outside. That's Dawson Cram in 13. All this is doing now is slowing up Larry Pace in the 86. He gets by him, no problem. The 74 now tries to get by him, no problem. But that did slow up that 86. Now back to the clutches of the 74.
Back onto the backstretch they go. They're all remaining very close to one another. Dawson Cram trying to stay out of this mess. He knows this is not his fight now at this stage, but they are dropping the 7 of Laubach back there in 6th a little bit. It could have an effect as well. Wow, look at him run away from Coonan, too. It's becoming a bit of a 4-car breakaway. It is still Larry Pace up at the top, and more laps continue to tick over. The closer we get to that checkered flag, the less likely you'll want to come down pit lane, because you don't know whether or not you can charge up through the fields, or for that matter, if you'll have the green flag racing to make the passes.
So 19 to go, still under green, and that strategy did have a wrench thrown into it. I mentioned wanting to take tires, and now I put money down on everybody coming into pit lane if we got a yellow flag. Well, inevitably, I'd lose all of my money. Only one set of Goodyear tires in the pits for these drivers. There's the yellow flag, and Schildhaus might have gotten bailed out. Mosteller, too. They still have 2 tires left in the pits. The 91 Rex to bring out another caution flag.
Wow. What a development on that one. Art Reimer, we think, may be involved in this. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, it looks like he's with Lawless Allen on the exit of 2 for this one. So the 91 gets turned around completely. Car crabbing a little bit as he gets it going. So no doubt he'll need to come and get that fixed, because I can't imagine it's going to be fast if he tries to drive it home like that. So he also is going to be in trouble here at the end, sent to the back of the field. How many drivers now pit in? It looks like a fair number of them. Drake is pitting, Schildhaus, Sora, Chilcutt, Mosteller. Have they all saved tires?
Now remember, Schildhaus and Mosteller have 2 tires still left in the pits. They can take the other side of the tires that they did not take in one of our previous yellow flags. For the rest of the crew that is into the pit lane, Malachi Drake just in for fuel, maybe adjustments. Nobody else. Presley Sora is actually in for a set of tires as well. There's a handful that did not use a previous set of tires. They just came in for fuel as well. Looks like a handful of them are starting to use their tires as well. First out of the pit lane looks to be Schildhaus, who ends up with 2 cans of Sunoco fuel and some tires on that machine.
And while Brandon P celebrates winning a 124 scale die cast, we also want to celebrate that we have $1,300 of donations for Extra Life. Also, we have a little bit of a break here before we get back to racing. We'll take a short moment, and then we'll bring you the finish of the race.
Oh, hi there. Time for Extra Life again? Wait, what is Extra Life? Seriously? Extra Life is a charity gaming fundraiser. We play games to raise money for local children's hospitals. Extra Lifers around the world have raised more than $100 million since 2008, and all because of people like you. So what are you waiting for? Donate to Extra Life to help kids like me.
Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. Again, such an awesome cause that they're trying to raise funds for. And boy, have we raised funds. I said $1,300. Actually make that $1,425. $1,425. We jumped up a bunch in just 30 seconds, quite literally there. So a huge, huge thank you to all who have donated. And we have links in the description below, or you can just simply go to groovyhollowraceway.com to see how you can donate. It's going to be very easy and also extremely appreciated by kids all over the country. All right, Larry Pace going to restart this one with less than 15 laps to go, and he's not going to have the same fresh tires that a few drivers behind him, but it's going to be way behind him, Josh. The highest of those who stopped, Malachi Drake, and he's in 16th.
Art Reimer's behind him. David Schildhaus looking for 3 Groovy Hollow wins in a row back in P18. We talked about the tire wear all night, and you can look on the racetrack for how the drivers are dealing with the tire wear. You can hear us talk about it. I want to go directly to the source. David Schildhaus mentioned in the iRacing text chat in the sim that the 2 tires that he kept on that race car for 132 laps were at 53% worn and 70% worn on each of those tires respectively. That is a lot. That is nearing about to blow territory.
Oof. Not something you want. I mean, it makes it all the more impressive what he's achieved. And he's restarting 18th, so he's not that far behind Malachi, but he's going to have to beat those who are on the same strategy as we go 2 wide once again for the restart. We'll restart on lap 138, and we do have 3 green-white checkers waiting for us that could change the outcome. Don't ever think that the killer is dead just because it's the end of the film.
And don't ever think that the Halloween machine is counted out. We saw the ghost, Josh Berry, drive that Halloween machine up to the win in the inaugural Groovy Hollow in 2021. That machine's up to P12 right now. Eric Estep at the helm against his will. Does he have enough for a top 10? Does he have enough for a win? We go on board with Eric Estep. The Vampire out of turn 4. Pace car is in. It's restart on board with the Halloween machine.
Watch from his perspective as he tries to get on the throttle as quickly as he can. Up at the very front, Larry Pace will lead the way, and they fan out once again. More 3 wide racing as everybody tries to pick their favorite line. It is now a sprint to the finish with a little more than 10 laps to go to get to the checkered flag.
It'll be 12 to go, this time by the stripe. Pace leads by a good margin over Coaster. We are 3 wide deep in the pack, though. I mentioned that mid-pack. We've mentioned the aggression, and we mentioned the caution flag again. Another caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing. And it is Art Reimer in the 91 who makes contact and brings out a yellow flag with 12 to go. And all the energy of that restart. Now everybody takes a collective exhale and relaxes again. We're going to rack them up one more time at least.
The drivers this really hurts is those on that 2-tire strategy. They need it to stay green to make up positions. Looks like the one that took advantage the most was Presley Sora. He made it up to 13th in the lap and a bit of change that we managed to complete. The 91, unfortunately, involved in a second big wreck means that he's pretty much done for the night. He's already used his spare car.
Not a ton of damage to that machine, enough damage on the back end and on the front end as well that he might have a radiator issue and also might have some aero issues on the back bumper. He is going to bring it in to the pit lane to see about getting that damage repaired. Still got a bit of time, especially if we end up using all 3 of our green-white checkered attempts at the end of this race, that we could see him back out on the racetrack with a somewhat patched up number 91 Chevy Camaro. But Joe, the restart again. Let's take a look at that replay. The 91 comes up. I believe that was it wasn't the 62 on the outside. Looks like it was Kilroy in the 63 Alpine Stars Ford Mustang that was upstairs for that incident. Don't see much the 63 could have done in the way of the 91 blending up the racetrack, but it was 3 wide, very tight coming off of 4, cars not reacting well in the middle of the traffic, and we ended up widening them up again. But Joe, that's another caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing, another winner and more donations as well.
Yeah, looks like Gilbert W. is our latest winner. Congratulations. $1,540 in donations from this race. Thank you so much to all of our fans watching. Sounds like we're going to be talking to Justin here. Let's see if we can drag him in. Have a little bit of a chat and see how he feels. Justin, your protege is not doing too shabby. Sits in 14th. Can the Halloween machine actually win?
I don't know if we're winning, but man, am I proud of Eric. Eric started iRacing 2 months ago, and he's in a field that is supposed to way outclass him, and look where he is. Like, we did some strategy to get there, but he's holding his own. He made a 3 wide pass on the outside. Like, I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing some great things, and we're definitely impressed with his speed. It looks like we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. So what do you think? Top 10? Could he maybe pull off the victory here?
We're going to need some more cautions, but we're going to do our best to keep our position and hold back those fresh tires.
All right. Well, best of luck. I'll let you get back to coaching him. Justin Yee helping out with Eric Estep in the number 4 as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Going to be 8 laps to go when we cross the line. Green flag is out, and as we accelerate away, Pace once again has control of the field. Garza, he's been there or thereabouts, Josh. It looks like he wants it. What does he have to do to get it?
The Forge brothers have been lurking. Are they going to lurk their way into the race lead? We're wrecking to the back. Coonan got turned. He's to the apron of turn 3. We're wadding him up even more. It's a medium-sized one at Iowa Speedway, and that might be the most cars that we have had in a wreck all night long. The Halloween machine is involved with big damage in 4.
It was a killing spree that time. Just unfortunate stuff. Sora involved in it, Chilcutt as well. So who's still got a spare car? It looks like Chilcutt does not. Sora does. What about the 4 car? Does Eric still have something in the wings? No, he does not. So he's already used his.
Welcome to motorsports. Welcome to chain reaction cautions. Ahead of this field, there's the 29. He makes big contact with Presley Sora. Up and into Chilcutt, into the 80. There's the Halloween machine in the 4 turned around. Coonan barely tapping Sora on the apron. He comes up. One of the Forge brothers entries in the 73 caught up as well. Let's see from the blimp. This started off the corner, 3 wide, barely not clear for Coonan. Comes down into Sora. It was a chain reaction. You saw the 31 get turned off the nose of another vehicle. And let's go on board with Eric Estep. Let's see what he saw in the Halloween machine as it tried to possess him and guide him through this wreck. It didn't work out. He had nowhere to go, Joe. All of a sudden, he sees a flying Presley Sora in front of him.
That had to be a real stake through his heart. Poor guy just was doing so good up until that moment. But like you said, that is racing sometimes. He is trying to take repairs and get back out there as soon as he can and get back on the lead lap, but he's running out of time. So are we, because we've got just a few laps to go. And if we get another caution from here, it is going to be into green-white checkers territory. By the way, this latest caution presented by Lionel Racing is going to go to Connor F.
Another caution flag giveaway presented by Lionel Racing. We've been giving away a ton of Lionel Racing 124s tonight. If you have not yet entered, there is still a chance for at least 3, maybe 4 more yellow flags. So you can go to GroovyHollowRaceway.com right now to enter before we finish this race. As we cross into 9:37 Eastern time in the real world, Joe. We're crossing over midnight in sim time. Is it a full moon here at Groovy Hollow Raceway? How is this race gonna finish?
Don't feed any of the drivers after this. So if we have a ceremony on the podium, don't give them champagne as we get ready to go racing once again. Let's see if the lights are going to be off this time by, or do we have to wait that little bit longer? We're starting to lose some more drivers. At first, only Armani Williams was out of this race. Now, Austin Call is our latest to be officially out. Lights are still on, so we'll lose even more laps on this one. That means, I believe, we'll have a natural green-white checkers. Now, that won't count towards our green-white checkers count, but if we manage to get to that white flag, we will go without any of the GWCs, and it will finish.
For anybody tuning in first time in a long time into the iRacing service, first of all, welcome back. Welcome to Groovy Hollow 4. Welcome back to iRacing. Welcome to racing at the virtual Iowa Speedway. But the overtimes do not work like they do in the real world. If a wreck happens on the white flag lap, we're not going to have a yellow flag that then freezes the field, and we got to go back to video to determine who was where at the time of caution and determine results like that. The white flag comes out, doesn't matter what happens throughout the field, we will race back to the checkered flag. The only way that we get a yellow flag in a green-white checkered attempt is if it comes out with 2 laps to go. Once that white flag is taken, race will end with the checkered flag no matter what.
And that can honestly create its own little bits of chaos, because it's kind of every man for themselves out there at that point, trying to get to the end. Of course, they're still held to the high standard that we've seen all day. And frankly, I've been impressed with the racing that we've been seeing out here. Some great stuff. Yes, we've had a few cautions, obviously, but we've seen some great displays of skill. And more than that, as we, we're expressing about Eric Estep, we know that this is a very highly skilled field, and there's some drivers that have kind of stepped up to the plate and really challenged those that we didn't think they'd be able to hang with. So kudos on that. Will we get this one to finish under green? Or are we going to head to overtime? Because the pace car is now in, and Larry Pace has control as the green flag is out. We need to make 1 lap to make this race complete. They come down into turn 1, and it's going to be a challenge for Garza because Coaster's already gotten underneath him.
We saw 4 wide deep in the pack, side by side. Now for second. As long as they fight for the second place, Joe, it's gonna let Larry Pace keep pulling away at the front. Off of turn 4, Garza in second, Smith in third, but it's Larry Pace to the white flag. We get there. Race is over. 1 to go.
He's got a huge lead. It is 3 wide for second place at this stage. Garza, Smith, and Coaster all fighting for that one. It's almost 4 wide behind them at the very back of the pack. It looks like nobody can touch Larry Pace. Who's going to be the final girl in this story? It's going to be Larry Pace in the number 86 that takes the win in Groovy Hollow 4.
NASCAR Mavericks on that car. He breaks the curse. David Schildhouse in Groovy Hollow walks away with the Groovy Hollow 4 victory in dominating fashion, Joe. What a race from Pace in the 86.
I mean, that is a well-deserved win. He had the lead of this race for so much of it. It looked like he was the quickest. It looked like he was going to be hard to beat, and everybody knew that they'd have to challenge him to try to come home with the win. He's going to burn it down here at the start-finish line as he celebrates that victory. We'll hopefully get to talk to him in just a moment on that one. I'm sure he is thrilled. As you said, Spooky Hollow, or not Spooky Hollow, Groovy Hollow, rather. Only
Spooky Hollow.
Yeah, Groovy Hollow only happens once a year, so it means a lot to really be able to pull one out and get the W here.
And I mentioned the dominating fashion. I mean, he used that outside line when nobody else was. Early on in the run, early on in the race, he used it to his advantage. He deserves to burn it down at Iowa Speedway and at Groovy Hollow Raceway. He wins Groovy Hollow 4, Joe. Let's see where everybody else ended up finishing.
Larry Pace, as we said, your winner. Adam Garza was second behind him, as he was much of the race, and Nathan Coaster was P3. From there, Aaron Smith was 4th, and Ryan Vargas was P5. Brennan Poole up 9 spots to get himself into 6th place today. Lawless Allen in 7th. So there's 3 of your real-world drivers right there in a row. Craig Janzak will be in P8. David Schildhouse only 9th today, unfortunately, as Nick Dwarnick will round out your top 10. Josh?
Daniel Mosseller on that 2-tire strategy ends up P11. Dawson Cram ends up P12. We saw Sora get involved in that incident. They were able to rebound with a quick repair to finish P13. James Laubach and Ricky Harden rounding out your top 15. Malachi Drake, Blake Lothian, Tyler Skozin, Nathan Lee, and Thad Moffitt round out your top 20. And unfortunately, Joe, next page is where you're going to find the Halloween machine.
Yeah, E-Step only 21st, but he was doing a lot better than that earlier on. Hankins 22nd, and then Kilroe in 23rd. From there, Tim Coombs and Thomas Coonan were your last 2 on the lead lap. Shocking for Coonan as he was so quick all race long. From there, Tanhart still finished, but a lap down. Avery Schwab 3 laps down, 27th. And then we have our DNF's call, Chilcutt, Reimer, and Williams to round out our field. 31 starters, but there's only one winner. And of course, that was Larry Pace today. Just really, really impressive. Started from fourth, so we knew he would be quick, but I just don't think it was clear how quick he would be until that race began, Josh, because, man, he made his presence known almost immediately.
It was speed from the outset. Started P4, didn't have the pace that the other drivers around him at least had in qualifying, but used the high line to his advantage all night long, and he ends up grabbing the win in Groovy Hollow 4. And Joe, I think it's about time that we speak to your Groovy Hollow 4 race winner in Larry Pace.
Larry, just amazing stuff out there. Congratulations on the win. I mean, it looked like you felt confident in the car just as soon as that green flag fell. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say so. I knew track position was going to be very important because it's super hard to pass at Iowa as we get deep into the run. So I kind of made hay while the sun was shining, and everybody was kind of leaving the outside open. So I just went for it and had to battle to finally get the lead. But, all in all, I was pretty comfortable out there. It was a lot of fun to drive.
We saw you try to ride the high line a lot. Did you set the car up intentionally to do that?
That's just kind of always the line I run at Iowa in 3 and 4 specifically. Just rolling the left sides on the hash marks. It kind of gives you a shallower entry if you're running the top. And there's a pivot point late center that you can kind of get on the gas at the same time, and it keeps the car turning. And if you stay disciplined. So, I mean, my strategy from the get-go was pretty much, run that line. And the bumps were crazy in 1 and 2, so I kind of migrated to a mid lane line there because it was insane. If you hit the bumps, you're skating up the track anyway. So,
well, congratulations once more. Is there anybody you want to thank for today's moment in victory lane?
Well, NASCAR Mavericks was on the car, which is very cool. Motorbooks, Eric for putting the event on, Extra Life, of course, you guys for doing the broadcast, everybody at the drill aisle. Marcus Lindsay spotted for me tonight, and without him, I'm not sure I win the race. He's just that good. Thomas Lewandowski, John Prather, Bob Bryant, Brian Blackford, all those guys, and everybody at 3 in it.
Well, that was our winner, Larry Pace, who came home with the W in the 4th edition of Groovy Hollow. Well, we do have second place finisher as well, Adam Garza. I believe our own Josh has caught up with the Illinois driver.
Well, we still don't know a whole lot about that number 74 Forge Brothers yellow car. Adam, you come in right before qualifying, push the car through tech, you get out on the track, and you end up P2. How in the world did you have so much speed in that thing?
Just being resilient there, and yeah, I had a blast. I just want to get that out of the way. This is a great event. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Early Life. And I knew I was a late entry, so I knew it was behind the 8 ball, and just a little bit of practice there, and I felt really good. Like I dialed in what I could in my control, and the car was rolling. That 74 spooky machine was pretty quick.
You had the speed. You could not catch Larry Pace, unfortunately, in the end of this one. But what did it mean to you to come out here and race in Groovy Hollow 4? It looks like a first-time entry for you, and getting to come out here, supporting Extra Life, supporting Toys for Tots, and just going racing with some NASCAR regulars as well.
Yeah, I was very excited entering this event. I've only been sim racing for a year, just a kid from Chicago, just trying to do what I could do in my control to someday make this dream happen. And to be able to race against actual drivers and Larry, I've raced with them all the time throughout the week, and I always enjoy racing them. Very respectful, very clean, and yeah, just doing what I could do in my control to try and make things happen. This is my first big event, and I had a blast. I loved it.
Well, Adam, one of our mystery machines ends up P2. I'd say that's a pretty good run from you tonight. Congratulations on your run here in Groovy Hollow 4.
Thank you, and hi, Mom, hi, Dad.
You gotta get it out there at some point. You're on an Eric E. Steps YouTube channel. Come on, you gotta do it.
Right.
That's Adam Garza, one of the Forge brothers, who walks away P2 at the end of this one. Joe, P3 went to Nathan Coaster, another one of the iRacing regulars that we saw up front all night long. You're standing by with a National Metering South number 95.
Yeah, love that Adam subscribes to the Scott Pruitt method there. But we've got Nathan Coaster. And Nathan, you were kind of one of those that was hovering around the front the entire time. What do you think you needed to make that next step to get up to the top spot?
Kind of just a little bit more clean air. I could have made that at the beginning of the runs. I just didn't want to risk really burning it up. Larry on that, after we took tires, just did a great job running the high line the entire second part of that race and protecting what was honestly the faster line, and just made it hard for all of us to really get going anywhere, get that clean air to maybe save tire to get going and get by them. Maybe need a little bit more of a shake up there on the final restart to maybe made something happen. But, I would definitely take third. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, considering the strength of this field, I don't blame you. Now, you came out the best of the national metering cars. Is it something that boosts your ego a little bit that you beat your teammates?
Well, certainly there was three. Obviously, we saw the 29 up there leading quite a bit of the first part of the race. I was running my own race, just trying to have fun, make sure I was there at the end. And I think, we had put together a good race. And, unfortunately, I think he got caught up in one of those incidents. I think they're at the end, if I'm not mistaken. And happy to get at least one of those national metering cars up front there at the end for sure.
Well, congratulations once more. And anybody you want to shout out to before you head off?
Well, certainly, National Metering South for being on my car, but, everyone that's put this event together, it's pretty cool to be able to utilize iRacing for a charity event and kind of do something cool with it, right? So, and then I'm thankful for the opportunity to be a part of this event, first time, so I had a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do it again.
That was Nathan Coaster, who finished P3 here today at Iowa Speedway. And I think, if I understand correctly, Josh has managed to bring someone back from the dead a little bit. And we have caught up with Eric Estep to close us out.
Well, let's catch up with Eric now, who ends up walking away back in P21, unfortunately, Eric. But let's go back to that wreck that we saw. It seemed like you had nowhere to go. What was your perspective behind the wheel of the Halloween machine?
Oh, yeah, I kind of
out for the interview. Put him back in.
Well, you don't want to hear this. Well, you see, I'd like to think.
Never mind. You can take him back out.
Yeah, I don't know if the people could even see that. The fake vampire teeth didn't work. No, it was on that wreck. I was late to the brakes, let me put it that way. And I saw there was someone right in front of me in the third lane, and I saw that the lane up by the wall was wide open, and I knew there were people right in my mirror. I didn't want to get rear-ended, and so I shot that gap and didn't see anyone at the time until I think it was the 98. Like a flash of lightning came flying up the track, big pileup. So, I told people, I think off camera before the race started, that I don't want to embarrass myself tonight. I don't think I did that, but if and when I wreck out, I want it to be spectacular. And my whole hood flying up in the air, that was a spectacular crash. So hopefully the fans at home had a good time watching not only that incident, but the entire race tonight. Congrats to Larry. It seemed like some good racing up front. We got close to it there about midway through. But hope people enjoyed the show.
Listen, DJ EJ spoke well for you in his interview. He was saying that you were doing a great job, only being on iRacing for a handful of weeks before tonight's Groovy Hollow 4. But even though you've been driving for only a handful of time, we've been doing Groovy Hollow now for 4 consecutive years going into the future. All the lore behind the Groovy Hollow Raceway and the Groovy Hollow event. What does it mean to use iRacing in this way, bringing NASCAR regulars, motorsport regulars, and the most avid iRacers in the world together for an event like this around Halloween?
Yeah, you kind of said it there. We bring a lot of people from across the racing fandom, real world drivers, sim racers, just fans like me who picked up a steering wheel a couple months ago. And I love Halloween. Who doesn't love a fun, spooky, festive theme? And that it's all for a good cause ultimately puts it over the top. Holidays right around the corner, that we're able to do something for Toys for Tots. Every year we've included Extra Life and Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It's been surreal to see the support from fans who watch at home. I was trying during cautions to keep an eye on the broadcast and the chat tonight, and it felt like the turnout was awesome. The enthusiasm was through the roof, and that's what makes this so fun every single year. Grew up loving NASCAR and Halloween, so to be able to mash them together once a year and have all these people be a part of it is pretty crazy. So really appreciate everyone showing up tonight, and you guys putting on another phenomenal broadcast for the fans at home.
Well, it was a great job from you as well in the car, finishing on the lead lap at the very least after a wreck. So congratulations on completing that task, Eric. And the Halloween machine drove you onto the lead lap at least. And congratulations again on a good finish.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll take it. Appreciate it.
That was Eric Estep in the Halloween machine, finishing P21. But Joe, real quick, do have a handful of other drivers that competed with us tonight. Tyler Skokson is one of them. Nick Dwanek is another one of them as well. Let's get to talking to Tyler Skokson from the University of Northwestern Ohio. You're standing by with him real fast.
Indeed, Tyler represented pretty well, I'd say. It looked like you were hovering around the mid-pack for much of the race. There was a lot of craziness going on there. What was it like having to deal with the insane traffic that you were fighting with?
Not easy at all. That caution in the middle portion of the race, or like, what was that, 20-ish to go, definitely didn't need that. We're running pretty good. I'd say the car was definitely top 15 worthy, top 10. I mean, I don't know how we were running that far up, but that was quite a miracle. But yeah, those guys behind me just... I didn't have enough for him. I thought I would be able to hold him off because I was kind of able to on that second to last restart, but just there was nothing else I could do there, and just kind of got a little tight trying to miss a car on the last corner, and just made a little contact and got hit from behind. But very unfortunate, but it was definitely a fun race.
Well, we appreciate you coming and chatting with us. Hope you have a happy Halloween. And again, thank you for joining in for the race.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for putting on the race. Everyone else, good cause you guys put on. And of course, everybody over at UNOH supporting me. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do this again.
As Tyler Skokson finishing P18 after starting 27th. So he did a good job coming up through the field. I think we got one last one. You might be able to solve a mystery for us with Mr. Kealoha.
Hello.
Okay.
How are y'all doing?
Hankins in the Shelby County Speedway, number 31. The question that everybody is wondering, it's on everybody's mind. What is your costume?
My costume is a whoopee cushion.
I was right on the first guess.
Correct.
Wow.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I'm assuming it was like a little bit hard to tell from the broadcast, but yeah, I wear this costume to pretty much most of the UNC Charlotte athletic games, so I figured why not wear it here?
Well,
Joe, I'm so impressed.
I mean, I have to admit it's a real gas. Sorry, I had to get that one in.
Honestly, that wasn't bad. You could have done worse with that, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad we were able to clear it up. I guess to the race, how did you feel about how things went? Because it seemed like we kind of saw you a bit of everywhere today.
Yeah, honestly, I was just trying to save my tires for the first run that we had. I know we had a pretty long run up until me and Dawson Cram got together. He gave me a little bit of a bump out before I was trying to hold on to it, and then he saw an opportunity to try and clear me in. Wasn't quite clear, but I mean, it was still a very fun race. It was still a very, very fun race to drive. I don't know. I was hoping we put on a show out there for all the viewers, but yeah, no, at the end there, I think we really did have a top 10 strategy, but I just got collected in that big one, and after that, it was just... Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to race in this event. This is my first Groovy Hollow event, so it's been real fun.
Well, you guys did very much entertain. Thank you so much, and again, hope to see you next year.
Thank you. Have a good night, y'all.
Kealoha Hankins here at Iowa Speedway. Josh, I had a fantastic time. I was so happy that I was invited back to be on the call for this one. Generally, one of the most fun races to get to be a part of every year.
Listen, I'm sorry to all the Eric Estep fans that my costume of being Eric Spotter didn't translate well into the sim because he got caught up in that wreck. But nonetheless, it was a great night of racing at the Groovy Hollow Raceway. We continue to add to the lore, add to the story. You can figure out everything that you need to figure out on Groovy Hollow lore at groovyhollowraceway.com. Everything is still available. The car is still available. The merch is still available. And congratulations to everybody that won a Lionel Racing 124 and the Caution Flag giveaways as well. Thank you to everyone everybody donating to Extra Life. Thank you to everybody donating to Toys for Tots. So much that we got accomplished tonight. I can't wait for Groovy Hollow 5 and to see what the legends of Groovy Hollow throw at us then.
Same here, and a big thank you to all the organizers as well as our team today, Hugo and Josh, and all those behind the scenes at the Daily Downforce for helping put this together. Until next time, however, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.